Welcome to the number one podcast in the U.S. for first-time homebuyers. We have more success stories than anywhere else. We got one coming today. And if you're listening to this episode on the day that it drops, right in early February, this is an urgent notice to all aspiring first-time homebuyers in 2026. Right now, and I mean right now, February and March, this is a buyer's market, and it's not going to last. This is your winter window of opportunity because come springtime, competition's going to increase. We're already seeing like 2 or 3 times the amount of buyers making their moves in just the first few weeks of January. And today's interview episode is going to give you some strategies, some tips, and some tactics that worked for a real first-time home buying couple. And you're going to hear some interesting facts about deciding whether to buy with your partner's income or on your own. And the answer to that one in this particular case, it's probably going to surprise you. You're also going to hear about the positive impact of reaching out early to a realtor and a lender. You'll also hear about working with a budget, handling those tricky home inspections, and deciding what your true, quote, must-haves are. Learning about the flexibility and making sure that you're getting the right home that ticks as many boxes as possible. This is a great story about some how to buy a homies did their pre-planning ahead of time. And when they connected with the right unicorn team, they found out they were more than ready. In fact, they got under contract in under a week. Interview time.
How to Buy a Home educates, protects, and connects first-time homebuyers to qualified vetted realtors in their area. Whether you're looking for DIY information or step-by-step guidance, How to Buy a Home is the number one resource for first-time homebuyers.
Hey, everybody. Very excited. We've got another interview. This is Gideon and Caroline, and they just closed on a home. Pretty exciting. Guys, we're very excited to have you here. Thank you for taking the time. Are you guys in your new home right now?
Yes, we are in our new home office.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, I'm in my home office too, but they turned it into a studio. So now it's a whole weird thing.
It looks very nice.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you guys so much for coming. Okay, you know the drill. Start with your biggest tip. What do you got for people?
I think biggest tip would be it's never too early to reach out to your lenders, realtors, and just get a plan going. Just run some numbers just so you have a budget.
And so Gideon, where did you start with the planning process? Did you start doing this stuff on your own or before you reached out to lenders, or did you reach out to me and then start with them? How did your guys' plan work together for you?
Pretty much I reached out to your lender after I'd been referred to them by you. And I kind of approached things at a more passive search because I wasn't really aggressively looking for a home. I didn't really have anything pressing. So I took things slow, and he was definitely very knowledgeable, really easy to work with, and just kind of went from there and learned a lot more stuff, listened to your podcasts, and took it from there.
Okay, well, let's go back a little bit. Tell us about your rental life. How long have you guys been renting, and when did you first start thinking, maybe we should think about buying?
We actually didn't do any renting. We lived with our parents. They have a couple of businesses, so logging business, firewood business, so there's always something to do. So in exchange for helping out with those, then we were living with them, which was really great. But also we needed to find our own place, our own space, a little closer to the action because we were way up north, pretty rural up there. And I needed to be closer to work so that I could study for the CPA exam and have my own place, no distractions. So no renting, thankfully. And that's what pushed me into getting a home as well. I did not want to waste any money.
Wow. Okay, first of all, tell us, you don't have to tell us exactly where you live, but what state did you guys buy in?
Minnesota.
In Minnesota. And so, yeah, up north, it is a little more rural. Okay, so I'm so curious. You guys were at home doing the extended family thing. That's awesome. What was the real motivation behind you guys deciding we're just going to stay here until we buy? Was that something that was taught to you or something that you just kind of found on your own?
I think it was just never really pushed. Like our parents never really pushed us out of the house. So there was no real reason to get too anxious and get ready to spend a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Did they end up coming over to visit a lot now did they miss you?
More frequent than we would have thought.
Which is completely fine. They are completely welcome anytime.
Oh, I understand that. But boy, I'm sure they're incredibly proud and very happy for you as well. So then everybody wants to know, how did the home shopping process begin for you? Were you crazy Zillow people? Or did you drive around neighborhoods? What did you guys do?
I started like I said, I started more of a passive approach looking. So it wasn't really pushed. By the time Caroline came into the equation and we worked things out together, she was a little bit more motivated and searching a lot more than I was.
Because at that point, when I was looking at, I need to be really close to my work so that I actually have time to do all the studying that I needed to do. I wanted to happen very quickly, and I was looking at, well, I could spend $600-700 on rent a month, which feels like a mortgage to me. Or I can find a house and we can make this happen. So it was a little non-traditional. That route, he did get pre-approved for X amount of dollars. I went to Zillow to do some shopping around. Once we figured out that we really wanted a 4-car garage, or at least 4 bays in some sort of way. Right now we have a main garage and a workshop. That really narrowed down the search and really sped things up to, here's this property. It's in the area we're looking at. And we talked with Colleen Gedker. She got us a showing that week. Next week we worked out finances. Next week we had a purchase agreement.
I'm telling you, it goes fast when it happens, doesn't it?
Extremely.
Yes.
Yes, those of you listening in audio, their heads were shaking vigorously. Did you end up just using one person on the loan? Or when you saw this property, did you end up doing both incomes for the approval?
I think they actually wrote it on me on the loan and then her as like an additional line. But I think I'm the right.
So we initially went in with both of our incomes. Here, look at this, and hopefully that'll get us a better interest rate, having all of our income as a way to pay off the loan. But then Jen at Guild Mortgage said, I'm going to run the numbers with both of your incomes, and I'm just going to run it with just Gideon's. And it turns out we got a better interest rate with just Gideon on the loan. So it puts him in a riskier position. If we didn't have a decent relationship, there could be some, maybe not great situations that he could be put into because it's just his name on the loan, but we do have a decent relationship. There isn't going to be any flaking out on anything, and we do want a good interest rate. So we ended up with 6.125, which was a really great rate at the time.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, and you can also get put on title for the house so that there is some liability there.
Yes, 50-50.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow. So that's a really interesting lesson there that, everyone thinks, well, here's one, but it's always going to be better when we go two. It depends. That's why you got to work with a great lending team. Because I've heard that story before. I'm not surprised. I'm sure a lot of other people were. Okay, talk to us, because Colleen was such a great unicorn find for me. Because you guys aren't in, the big metropolis of Minneapolis that everyone thinks about. You're further out in the state. Talk to me about that whole 4-car garage thing. Is that normal up there, or were you guys looking for that unicorn home, so to speak?
That was mainly my criteria. I'm tinkering with a lot of stuff, so especially in the winter is when my off time is. I'd rather be indoors and playing out in the freezing cold.
Yeah. So you do something in there. You're just not parking multiple cars.
Right. One garage is for her vehicle, and then the other one is for all my toys and just playing with motors and stuff.
And when we found out that it had a welding hookup for the electricity and everything, that just was, this is our home.
Wow. It's so interesting what things will be the must-haves and then the other things that kind of switch around. So what were the compromises in the actual home then? Did you give up anything, or did this one kind of fit the bill pretty much all the way around?
I think acreage, definitely. It's a bit smaller than we were looking for, but everything else seemed to check the boxes. So it's one thing we had to compromise on. And
we're both thinking that this is more of a starter home for the both of us. Both of us want more land eventually. I want to build eventually, but this is a great way to start and save up for that future build.
That's great. Well, the nice thing is now that you know that you've come from it from the buyer side, you're going to have a very specific type of buyer who's going to make kind of the same kind of compromises because you have that uniqueness of the garages. Did you guys do practice payments ahead of time, or how is it paying your mortgage? What are you're about 6-7 months into paying mortgage. Does it hurt every month, or are you good with it?
No, actually, when I started my process and looking, just kind of slow and steady, I was putting away a payment into a high yield savings account just as a practice pretty much, and saved up until we closed on it. And I used that as a down payment. So I've already adjusted into making those payments and had a nice cushion there, had a down payment ready.
And I played with more of a general rule, don't go over 25% of your take-home pay per month. And that's where I landed. So payments are very comfortable right now, thankfully.
Wow, that's amazing. Did you guys get into the home before the holidays, or were you moving through the holidays?
I moved in on December 6th or so before the holidays. Gid actually was working for our dad for the logging season up north. So he just moved in maybe about a month ago.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. Come home from a seasonal gig and you get to go right into a new home. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was quite a new feeling.
Yeah, it's got to be, huh? Well, were there any surprises along the way for you? Whether it was in how the home, I mean, obviously it went fast, but were there surprises in the process with getting the loan, the closing, all that paperwork? Was there anything that you learned there?
I didn't realize how smooth the process could be because Colleen knew the title company. She had a good relationship with the mortgage company. So they were all talking to each other in the background. And it was almost completely hands off for us. And I just didn't realize having that kind of integrated team would benefit us so much, but it really did.
There is such a wonderful thing with the relationship and the experience. Not only are you going to get the benefit of them being able to have been there, done that, and seen things, but boy, those relationships are great because as you guys found out, it's not just the realtor and the lender. Suddenly, when you're under contract, there's all these other people that are reaching out to you that you have stuff to do with, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. Well, then did the closing part go smooth? Everyone seems to freak out about that. Were there extra costs, or were you prepared for it?
They ran some numbers before us beforehand, and it came out pretty close to what their estimates were. So there wasn't really too much of a surprise cost. Plus, I had extra cushion that I saved up, so I wasn't really too worried about that.
Now, with these unique properties up there in Minnesota, what was the inspection like? How old is your home? And were there any surprises with that part of the deal?
It's 19 years old, so not too terribly old.
Not at all.
Colleen recommended Kyle from the home team, I believe, for the inspection. And he was really great to work with, very thorough. We found out that we couldn't get into the attic at all because it was framed in, and that would be, I can't remember the term, but an invasive inspection where he would have to actually take apart things in order to get into the attic. But he did inspect what he could, and he gave us a clean bill of health, so to speak. The only thing was he did notice that we had a Sandpoint well, which was also 19 years old. The fixture, if you run one fixture, a sink in the kitchen, and then you try to turn on the shower, things are trickling because it's old and sediment builds. And he said it's very expected for this old of a well. So we're in the process of drilling a well right now. And it's crazy to see him be so thorough. He would say, let's walk over to this bathroom, turn on this faucet, and let's walk over to this bathroom and turn on this shower. Now let's do a different combination of different fixtures, and you can see. So he is very upfront about what we should be expecting with this age of a well.
It's such a silly thing, but I tell people all the time, it's like, yeah, you know how I know it's a great inspector? He says, hey, David, how are you? Walks right past me, and he turns on everything in the house. I'm like, I say, what are you doing? And he says, David, I'm very happy that this couple is buying a home, but what happens when at Thanksgiving and everybody needs a shower and a bathroom and do the laundry and cook something in the kitchen at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
The last thing you want to do is get surprises when you have a house full of people. Mm-hmm. So that's so
He was
neat.
also very thorough in explaining the maintenance that goes into a new home because we've always lived with the parents and our home at home was pretty low maintenance. He would say, this is how often you should be changing your furnace filters. This is how often you should be cleaning your air exchanger. We've never had AC before. This is how you work I think it's the Honeywell touchpad that controls all of the heating, air conditioning, humidity, and all of that. So it was really nice to get that kind of walkthrough.
It's so nice when you have the people that are not just giving you a list of all the things that are wrong to freak you out, but actually helping you through it. And trust me, the first night it gets, Minnesota cold, you'll be looking for that inspection report, or you'll be on YouTube going, Honeywell pad, what do I do? That's the checklist of the inspection is really important. And it's always interesting because, like, did your parents have a well? Were you familiar with that?
They have a drilled well at home.
Okay. And it's one of those things that you guys end up right now, you're drilling a new well rather than doing repairs or upgrades to the one that's there, because that's the better route to go.
Right. Yep. Definitely adds value to the property long term. We're running into a few surprises right now with the well drilling, but I should say that is one of my bigger takeaways is to have that cushion, have that savings account, because with these home repairs, there could be a surprise. There could be a little extra capital outlay. But we're prepared for it, and we're working through it.
It is a smart move because you have your home warranty, and that's going to cover big things. You just have to pay for that small deductible. But a lot of times, buyers are like you, where you think, oh, well, this is fine because we can upgrade that, and I've got, whatever, $5,000 set aside for that new project. And then that project starts, and it gets more expensive as time goes along. So if it's not, your warranty is going to cover to make sure that things get repaired, but it's the extra stuff. Having that cushion can be an important part. Yeah, we don't have wells out here, so I don't know anything about that stuff. So that's why I talk to Colleen and all my other unicorns. How is it settling in now? Are you guys comfortable and happy? Maybe just expecting a few less family visits, but besides that, it's great.
Yeah, I think we're about all settled in, and I'm actually going to be starting work again, so I'll be living out of a camper. But I got to enjoy the house for another month or so.
That's exciting. Yeah, I would think when you're out on a camper for months at a time that it's nice to have your own place to come home to.
Oh yeah, it's definitely nice. And I'm close enough where I could probably come back every weekend. So it's nice to have a little home base.
Oh, that's cool. That's great. Well, you got your garage full of stuff, all of the things you might want to just go home and tinker around a little while, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, there's always something to be doing.
Well, this is so nice to hear because we have people in all different parts of the country, and especially for people to understand that a home base, I don't know, a lot of times people will end up moving out and renting because their job is taking them to different places, but you can still establish a home base while you're growing that equity and starting to build your financial future. So I really appreciate you guys coming on here today and sharing your story from your home office to mine. So
yeah.
Thank you guys. Was there anything else you'd want to, I know you gave the shout out to Colleen and the title folks. So was there anything that I missed? I want to make sure.
Yeah, make sure you get your unicorns. They are really helpful, and I can't stress that enough.
And don't be afraid of PMI like I was. I was definitely holding off on buying a home because of that 20%, and it's nothing to fear. It's $100 a month for us. We're good.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you said it and not me. I've been saying it all year because my son's a freshman in college. If he calls me one more time to tell me how smart his professors are, when he tells me the exact same thing I've been telling him for 18 years. So I'm glad you said it and not me. But the math is true. It's $100. And, the better your credit score, the lower it goes. And, in the long run, plus how much, where were you guys on the down payment? Were you on the single digits or were you at 10% or?
We landed at about 7.
At about 7. Yeah. So you've got to get to, up to that 21, 22%. And then you could remove the PMI. And so that'll be a few years. But in the meantime, instead of you renting, eventually if you had moved out and started renting someplace, the math just works so much better. So
right. If you can make the numbers work, then definitely pull the trigger.
Awesome.
We're also planning on some renovations like a steel roof, which will also increase the value of the home. Plus, we are making a extra payment per year. So that'll definitely boost that progress.
Little did I know, I just talked with our insurance person yesterday, maybe day before, and he said with a steel roof, you save $300 to $400 on your insurance, which is fantastic news.
I think right now, I'm shocked that the insurance companies aren't advertising these things more because I've been hearing about them forever, whether it's, sprinkler systems, security systems. There are so many different things that your insurance will actually give you a nice discount. And, in that case, with insurance being such a problem right now, that's a huge incentive for you.
Mhm.
And it's also great. I can already hear you guys have the right attitude because you are thinking we do want more acreage. So every project has a little extra incentive, a little extra motivation for you because you guys are going to try to squeeze everything you can out of this.
Mhm. Yep.
For sure.
That's awesome. Well, the nice thing too is you can keep in touch with your unicorn and always make sure you are getting, every 3 or 4 months an update on where the market's going. And as long as things are still going up, and then, eventually we'll let people know, hey, things are starting to slow down a little bit. And sometimes that might be time to start thinking about it. And for you guys right now, you're going to be in great shape. Keep doing your renovations. You get to enjoy them, but you also know that eventually they're going to bump up your price tag when you finally do sell.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so Gideon and Caroline under contract in under a week. And this is just one of over 100 interviews where you can hear real stories of renters becoming homeowners without pressure, without uncertainty, and with total clarity. This isn't just theory. It's not what ifs happening here. This is the real actual path to home ownership. 7 years of doing this podcast, and I have these statistics. 72% of all the people who have reached out to us over all 7 years and tell us they think they're a year to a year and a half from buying a home, the numbers are in and they're under contract in 3.2 months. And if you are super prepared, like Gideon and Caroline, well, then you could be under contract in under a week. And right now, early 2026, now more than ever, don't wait to find out. You might be able to do this so much sooner than you think. The data and the forecasts are set for 2026, and it's crystal clear that the best deals for first-time home buyers, they're happening right now in February and March. After that, there's going to be more competition and the prices are going to start to rise. Now, if you're brand new here, my best advice to you is to spend a couple of days binging the #1 trusted first-time homebuyer system in the U.S. That's broken down in 10 steps, and it starts at episode 400. But when I say binge, I mean binge. Time is of the essence. Don't take a week or two. The next step after that is the playbook. That's episodes 440 and 441. But get binging, get moving. You're probably a lot closer than you think. And there are incredible opportunities happening right now. I can't wait to hear your success story. You can do this.
Looking for more DIY education or your own personal step-by-step guidance through the home buying journey? Since 2019, How to Buy a Home has been the #1 resource for first-time home buyers. So visit howtobuy.com to get started.